Greetings. We're going to do the formal greetings shortly, but now we're going to have Dougie's family coming in. So we're going to lead in the family before we continue with the rest of the program. Thanks. Again, greetings and welcome to this evening where we're commemorating our hero, our community hero. Before I go any further, I want to introduce myself. My name is Kendake McConnell, and I'm going to be the host for this evening. We acknowledge the world of the divine, and we've acknowledged our ancestors. Now we're going to ask our brother, but before we do that, can we hear it for Day a Long Time Drummers? Can we also hear it for our people who are playing the music over this side, DJ Jammers and Cole? And of course, we want to hear it for the ancestral lineage of the brother that we are here commemorating this evening, the family of Brother Dougie. Without any further ado, I want to welcome the chair of the organization that put this together, James Buzzy B, who is going to take it further.
Thank you, Kendaki, who is your host this evening. I just want to, thank the Dougie's family most of all, who I have been working with over the matter of fact since Brother Dougie or Dougie's really passed. I've been in contact with the family, seeking their cooperation, but also their blessings for anything we're going to do in regard to Brother Dougie. We always let them know what's happening because we want them to be a part of what we do. They lend us, Brother Dougie, I think we I think he spent more time with us than he did with him. I think he was ours. So I'm really grateful for the kind of person that you have raised and influenced. But Brother Dougie was such an influential figure in the community, such a big personality, and he had this enigmatic smile. When he walks in, he lights up the room. But he was very supportive. Whenever you call him, the answer was never no. As long as it had something to do with the community, he was there. I had a call this evening from a person called Christine. She said, I'm just calling because I can't make it, but just to let you know that Brother Dougie meant so much to me. He's done so much work with me in Hackney. But I just want to pass that message on that I can't be there, but I'll be there in spirit to support Brother Dougie. So that tells you the kind of impact that Brother Dougie had. And the community legacy group was put together last year just to give the event a little more structure. And as the name suggests, it's about legacy, because what we're doing now is legacy. And legacy is attached to so many things. When we first came to this country, legacy. Even before that, our legacy in the Caribbean or Africa is legacy. And also legacy to come in terms of generations to come, and also the unborn. We have to leave legacies for each generation, for the next generation to come. So that is what we will be working with. We've got a pretty good program lineup for you today. We've got a number of speakers that's going to be, just around the topics that Dougie, that was very important to him, like health, wealth, personal development, and African spirituality. So we have some speakers who will be speaking on those topics. We also have an array of stalls here, and we have some food there. So I'm not going to take up any more of your time. I'm going to get out of the way and I'll let the program commence. Thank you.
Okay, we're going to keep the program moving swiftly on. So now we're going to have a video by another brother who's a stalwart in the community, our brother Andrew Mohammed. So he wants to give a voice towards Brother Dougie's day.
Just give you a shout out to the people that turned up to the tribute to the legend of the Dougie, the team today from the West African coast of the Gambia. And I'm feeling to say, it's a new day. I'm so inspired that each and every year we continuously remember this great brother from the community. It's very rare, so we give a shout out to all the community that was behind the scenes that put this together. You are fantastic. It's a pleasure to say what we need to do.
Well, I'm going to start taking if you don't mind, all right? Yeah.
Good. Well, the investigator, AK Papa G, just give me a shout out to a legend of the Dougie, the beautiful way from Gambia. And I'm feeling to say, it's a new day. I'm so inspired that each and every year we continuously remember this great brother from what we've done in the community. It's very rare, so I'm going to give a shout out to all the community that was behind the scenes together. You are fantastic. It's a favor I've been saying that we need to remember the greats amongst us. And Brother Dougie is definitely one of those brothers. And I would say, bro, what a line. We've got the leader in the Dhaka, Brother Malik, Jammers, we've got the whole Red Diamond, we've got the whole crew there today. So please, in the spirit of Brother Dougie, fantastic day. Know that Brother Dougie spoke the word of truth. His word was his bond. He knew what he was standing up and stood on that square as an African, brothers and sisters. So once again, I want to bow to every single one of you out here today. Lift shot from Brother Rob G. We're done with the second time. Brother Dougie, honor you, brother. It's honor to know that we remember you every single day. Bless you.
Yeah. Okay, so we're going to keep things moving. Now, we have a brother who is going to give a presentation. His name is Malik Mohammed, and he is an improvement strategist consultant for 14 years. He deals with empowerment mastery system. Now, he's going to do a finance workshop because we know in our community, one of the things is around finances. When we want to have our own buildings, when we need to do our own things, the issues are around finances. So, Brother Mohammed is going to speak about, Malik Mohammed is going to speak about empowerment strategies, tools to create the wealth mindset. Let's welcome our brother, Malik Mohammed. Come on, my brothers and sisters, let's welcome your brother.
Good afternoon, everyone. Can you hear me clearly? Give thanks, give thanks. Well, in the presence of the Most High, and also in the presence of our ancestors, Williams family, give thanks. The Community Legacy Group, give thanks also. And equally importantly, as we gather today to remember this powerful man, Dougie, I am tempted to speak of him in the present sense because we know that spirit lives even though flesh fails. And it's only last week I was saying to myself, I need to touch base with Dougie about something. And in the twinkle of an eye, I remember that I can't make that call again. So us being here is so important, so powerful, so dynamic, just as Dougie would have wanted us to be here just now. And so we never speak of those of us who transcend as no longer being here. They're physically not here, but their spirit is essential. Essential. I am Malik Mohammed, a son of Africa who, via my Jamaican experience, I am now experiencing the physical manifestation of this part of my spiritual journey. The operative point here is the son of Africa. As we look at the wealth mindset, many persons have asked me, what angle will I be coming from with this? Will it be some get-rich-quick scheme? Will it be the latest hustle? The latest investment in crypto? No. The approach I would like to share with us just now is in 3 stages. I'd like to present 2 stages, 3 strategies, and 1 solution. 2 stages, 3 strategies, 1 solution. And I'll commence, with your permission, by looking first at what the wealth mindset means to me and the perspective I would strongly suggest that you contemplate. When I speak of the wealth mindset, it has to do with the spirit of abundance, the thinking that we bring to the other things we want to manifest. So before the money, the good homes, the cars, etc., All of these evolve out of a particular way of thinking. This is why some persons may win the lottery or inherit some money, and within the twinkle of an eye, they end up being financially broke because they don't know how to handle the money, how to deal with it. There is a reason why we do not own Chestnut Community Center. There is a reason why whether one travels through Abu Dhabi, through Jamaica, through St. Kitts, in any part of the motherland, there is a reason why there is a disproportionate representation of persons who are non-African controlling the wealth, controlling the properties, and generally owning relative to the global majority who inhabit the land. There is a reason why, as I walked down Tottenham High Road, and as I walked through Harsden, as I walked through St. Paul's in Bristol, and any places where we have this sense of community, and I say community loosely, because we do not control the wealth or the assets in the area. There is a reason why we tend to be the persons, and by we here, I'm referring to specifically to African people. There's a reason why we tend to disproportionately consume, but seldom own or produce. And this is where I'd like to start by looking at the two stages, if you will. And I'm referring here to the personal and then the community stroke global concept. In other words, the microcosm leading into the macrocosm. Everybody with me so far? Give thanks. Now, on a personal level, how many times have we said to ourselves, I can't afford something? Anybody ever said, I can't afford it? I want to go here, but I can't afford it. I want to buy this, but I can't afford it. Or we have said this to our children, our grandchildren, our nieces and nephews. Now, in saying we can't afford it, what we're doing here is we are creating a certain mind map. The neurons in our minds are leading towards poverty, scarcity, lack, as opposed to abundance, plentiful, having it. And so when we then, as individuals, focus on scarcity rather than abundance, when we look at what we do not have, as opposed to envisioning what we will have, we create certain pathways in our minds. And this is passed on intergenerationally without even understanding why. There is a reason why this island, note I said island, because sometimes we forget that England is an island, a landmass surrounded by water. There's a reason why this island has been so wickedly successful in all of its endeavors. Something Dougie always said to me in our private conversations was, brethren, watch out for Babylon. Watch out for Babylon. And this simple statement from this great man is an indication as to how the system is. We're not simply fighting principalities and powers, you know. We're fighting wickedness, which is also organized and centralized and is mobilized in such a way to ensure that wherever we are domiciled, there tends to be a disproportionate representation of African people at the bottom and others elsewhere. Now, because of the personal mindset, we tend to gravitate towards people who think like us. And so we enter organizations and we wonder oft times whether we can truly own what we claim we're going after. We wonder sometimes if the day will come when we will truly be liberated. And I would ask us at this point to visualize for a moment a tree. Any tree. It can be a breadfruit tree, an apple tree, an orange tree, any tree. But imagine a tree with branches going into the trunk and then into our roots. This is the metaphor I would like us to bear in mind when it comes to liberation. The branches represent the disparate representations of our African spirituality. We have been through a lot. We have been through our Holocaust. We have experienced something that no one on the face of the earth has ever experienced. Ever. How then can we expect to have a mono approach to such a large problem? So the branches represent, I would suggest, our various approaches to what it means to be African. As long as our focus and our mission is the root, which is African liberation, we should try not to be so distracted by the various methodologies, the various branches of our approach, provided that all roads lead back to liberation. There are those of us who understand that irrespective of what branches we use, and however much we may try to fit in, we may try to go along to get along, however much we may try to dress, look like, be like, sound like, walk like, talk like, eat like, live with others, that at the root of it, unless we appreciate what it means to be African in 2024 while domiciled in Babylon, there are some of us who understand that that is also a waste of time. However, to give balance, as I mentioned, we are all on a spiritual journey. And so we strive to be patient with each other and encourage each other to stick to the root, which is the purpose of liberation. And so when we have those among us who are unapologetically African, who would not wear what I'm wearing now, who would not have artwork, who would not subscribe to any other religious or spiritual philosophy on this journey, when we have those among us who uncompromisingly understand that we need to deal with the root knowledge rather than the branch knowledge, we must celebrate and heal them. Never allow our own fear and our own pain to shy away from those of us who understand that ultimately, in the final analysis, what a joy it is to be an African. And let us not be concerned and distracted by it. And so, as I mentioned, the two stages, the personal and the communal stroke global context, because when we then come together with individuals of like mind and we strive to achieve a given objective, we are more likely to achieve the overall goal. In my book, I talk about achieving more together. If I use my right hand here, my beautiful black right hand, and try to clap, I'm only clapping the ear. But if I put both hands together and try to clap, there will at least be a sound and vibration. So imagine if more of us can come together and clap, with one accord, with one mission, with the root being liberation, we are more likely to achieve something. Right or wrong? Give thanks. So as I mentioned, those are the two stages, the personal and the communal global perspective. And so what we find therefore is that when we have the three strategies, because what we've realized, as I mentioned earlier, is that there is a plan, and where we are now is by design. Can you imagine if we too had a plan? If we too had a global strategy? Can you imagine a time where to be African and proud does not need to be explained? It is simply lived and breathed. Can you imagine walking into a building that is no longer rented, for a tribute to our brother Dougie, but that is owned, where we simply look at the diary to see who will be paying today to occupy a place that we own. So the three strategies I'm suggesting here. One is accountability. If I ever have to attend another meeting and hear the word fundraiser there, and I see money coming through, and I see the alleged person walking around or driving around or flying around with no accountability, it would pain my heart and bring a frown to my handsome African face. Because for many years, there has been no accountability, and this speaks to a lack of African spirituality within the essence of leadership. We have to give balance, great leaders among us. I don't want to sound biased, but I would allude to one such leader towards the end of our time together. We have those among us. It's not a matter of we don't have the prototypes. It's not as though we don't have any examples around us. But that sense of doubt that I alluded to earlier, when that trickles in, we therefore think first, fundraiser, thief. It is automatic. Can you imagine if we were able to think fundraiser, property? It comes back to a way of thinking, the way how we have allowed our minds to be bamboozled by others. And so one, accountability. Two, spirituality. Now, I'm not suggesting that all of us, as I mentioned earlier with the branches and the journey, we come to our essence of Africanhood from various experiences. There is no one size fits all. What I am suggesting, however, is that religion is not spirituality. They are not. And oftentimes, this may sound somewhat self-deprecating, but oftentimes we confuse religion with spirituality. And this is why we still own nothing. Because the mindset is such that we have not come to appreciate that once upon a time, and even now, we come from a land of abundance, a land of plenty, a land that gave this world much more than dancing and drumming and running. We come from a place that gave the world mathematics and science and physics and technology and so much more. So to limit ourselves to simply entertainment, no, the ritualization and our pouring of libation is an essential part of our African spirituality, not to be mocked or confused with any kind of prayers or feeling good philosophy. No. It's about the feeling that drives through the essence of our African souls as we're domiciled in this part of Babylon in 2024. And so, accountability, spirituality. And the third one, in terms of strategies, is personal development. Sometimes we do not know what we do not know. I remember it's roughly 30 years ago, I was over in a place that I pronounced as Plaistow, but I heard it's Plastow. Anyway, I walked into a building in right? And when I walked in there, I saw a group of people wearing African clothing. I was just relatively fresh from Jamaica, wearing my white socks, white trousers, a kind of collar top. As far as I'm concerned, looking good, ready to take in some information. And I heard something that has reverberated within the great mind I possess until this day. And it's one of the primary reasons why I am the way I am just now in terms of my manhood, etc. And the gentleman who was speaking said, how do you define yourself? How do you define yourself? And personally, I did not have a definition as to who I am, who I was, etc. I am just me, Jamaica, grew up in Trelawney, that's it. But when asked how to define myself, that simple question made me wonder, who am I? What am I? How do I see the world? Because it's how we see the world, the way we see the world through the lens of our eyes, based on how we think, that will determine how we try, how we move, how we function, how we navigate spaces globally. So when I travel the world now, doing my empowerment march system, whether I am in the Burj Al Arab in a 7-star hotel, whether I am in Granville in Trelawney, behind my cousin's shop, whether I am anywhere here in Babylon and anywhere in between, I try as a son of Africa. I don't have to apologize to anyone for how I am, how I function. Yes, I'm on my spiritual journey, but when I return, the prayer is that I will be devoid of labels and being able to trod the trodden without having to use any crutches or any other support systems. But as I mentioned, it's a journey. And because we are here and now, in this place and time, we must therefore be mindful of the journey that we are on. So having said all of that, we look at the personal, we look at the global dynamic in terms of community, etc. We look at the 3 strategies to help us. So what, you may ask, is the solution? Anybody wondering what the solution is or want me to come with a solution? Anybody ever wondering why I can be so bold as to say, not a solution, the solution, definitive article? The reason I say this is this. We can try and work out everything. We can try to reinvent the wheel. But sometimes we need to look right in front of us, as Dougie always tells me. Open your eye and look. Right in front of us sometimes we have the answer. We have proof of concept in terms of marketing terms. We have a history. We have proof and evidence that something works. So why then, if we are aware that something works and it has worked, why should we then not learn from that tried and tested routes, adapt accordingly, and come back even stronger? The solution, I suggest, humbly, for your contemplation this afternoon, is this. You ready? The philosophy and opinions of Marcus, Messiah, God. And allow me now to qualify why I have said this. Notice, bold statement, definitive article, the. What I'm saying is that you can try everything else, but it still will not add up to even 1% of what the Honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey left for us. Now allow me a moment, if you will, to qualify my assertion. When we look at the teachings, the life, the work of the Honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey, we first of all, in terms of marketing, he understood his avatar. He understood his target audience in a global context. There is documented, not just anecdotal proof. There is documented evidence of what he and the UNIA were able to achieve, given the socio-political dynamic and times under which he did such a great work. 1. Number 2, he understood that, as I mentioned earlier, identifying with Africa therefore meant that wherever we were domiciled, we would focus on doing our work in that land according to a certain strategy and structure and principle. And thirdly, when we have examples of persons who still, in spite of all of the wicked machinations and forces that would seek to obliterate the African consciousness globally, when we have persons who uncompromisingly rather, stand firm in the midst of this beast, it's incumbent upon those of us, irrespective of where we are on our journey, to support, to financially compensate, to pray for, to be there for persons who uncompromisingly stand as Africans in this time with a blueprint of how we can get the wealth that comes from a particular mindset. And this is why, in many ways, for me, being here is so important, because Dougie influenced my life and family in ways that you'll be very surprised. When I first met Dougie, I was leaving All Nations. No, don't judge me. I was leaving All Nations, feeling good, tired, coming up from the basement, curly perm in tow, and walking towards my vehicle. And all I heard was, Father, 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 you need one of these posters here now, because the way you look, you need some help, man. You need some help. Now, I was surprised at his candor, but I respected the way he dealt with me as a fellow African. I walked over to Dougie, I bought a few posters, and every time I would go back to Night News, over time, bearing in mind this spiritual journey, over time, the perm went, the mindset adjusted, the meeting in Plastow that I went to, Dougie told me about the meeting. And this is why, for me, there's a special significance being here today. Because the man I heard challenge me about defining myself is the same man who did the libation a while ago. Our brother leader, Bandaka. Now you would wonder, how can I heal and revere a man like this? Because guess what? Wherever we travel in this world, whatever we achieve in this life, always remember, like the tree, remember the roots. Remember where we are coming from. We are a noble people. Many persons have helped us, prayed for us, cussed us, controlled us, loved us over the years to be where we are now. And Brother Dougie is one such soul who lived for us, sacrificed his time and his family to do SLR radio. Find your voice, looking at health and personal development, always having a kind word and a gentle touch, always standing on the square, as Brother Andrew said, never compromising in the face of this beast. So I ask, therefore, as the sweat comes down my beautiful bald head, and I won't even pause the vibration of the frequency to wipe my brow. I want to be fully present right now. What will we do to remember what our brother did for us? What will we do for those unborn? How will we navigate the space? How will we live? How will we try? In the same way that Brother Leader influenced me, on my journey, wherever I go, the books I've written, wherever I do talks, whoever I present to, whether I am in the House of Lords, giving a presentation to them about empowerment, whether I'm in a school in Jamaica, what gives me the courage to be so forthright, to be so bold, to stand firm as an African in this land? Because I saw a lion roar, which reminded me that I have nothing to fear. Forget Lion King and Simba. There's nothing more beautiful than seeing evidence in front of us of what works. This is why I say that the philosophy and opinions of Marcus Mosiah Garvey is the answer. We don't have to do it exactly the same way in terms of methodology, but we stick to the mission. Never compromise the essence, the roots. There was a time when many of us whether we come from Africa, the motherland, or from the Caribbean. There was a time when we would send airmail letters home. All right, maybe some of you are too young for that. I remember a time when I would airmail letters in Jamaica, the blue one. And if you saw it rather padded, you know there was like £5 in there. You remember, my sister, give thanks. Now I get emails. I do WhatsApp messages and WhatsApp videos. The principle is whether airmail letter or WhatsApp message or email, you communicate. The philosophy and opinions of Marcus Messiah, given context of 2024, is still relevant. The importance of us identifying with Africa through our journey is imperative. And equally importantly, we sometimes get distracted and cajoled into being told that we should look at the example of other people. Look at these people, they came here from there, look what they're doing now. What is the British term? Pull yourself up by your bootstraps. I humbly submit, until you have been through what we have been through, until you have experienced the level of inhumane treatment, until you have been through what we have been through, where I am standing here as an African and I can just about master the bastardized language imposed on me through chattel slavery and think in the language of my oppressor. Until you understand what that feels like, shut your mouth and now leave me alone. Let me look to examples within my rich history and culture that have worked, that do work, and will work in the future. As Bob Marley says, open your eyes and look within. Give thanks, blessed Lord.
Let's hear it for our brother who rolled here this evening, our brother Mohammed. Blessed Lord. Blessed Lord. Okay, so I'm going to have a 10-minute break, let you go on water and feed yourself. The different stalls that we have around the place, but we want you sharply back in about 10 minutes so we can resume the program. Give thanks. 1, 2. Okay, so we're going to ask if people if they can be taking their seats back. We're going to start with the next part of the program shortly. So if you could please retake your seats. Thank you. make your way into the room because we have a very special part of the program now that we would like you to be a part of. So those in the hallway, could you make your way back into the room, please? Thank you. Okay, brothers and sisters. Okay, my brothers and sisters, we are now reconvening, and so for this part of the evening, and we would like if you can keep the volume down because we are going to ask the family of Brother Dougie, specifically his sister Carol. Yeah? We're going to have a cake cutting for Dougie, but we're going to invite her to say a few words, and then after the cake cutting, we're going to have some tributes for our blessed brother. So can we welcome Dougie's sister Carol? Would you like to say a few words before the cake cutting? Yeah, thank you.
I've also got my nephew Dylan that's going to say a few words as well. Thank you. Today would have been his birthday. This was the day that he was born. So it's with a heavy heart, but we know he's there, his spirit is there, watching over us, smiling, encouraging us. And I'd like to say to my brother, my older brother, the elder of the family, happy Earth John.
Hello, I'm another member of the family. I'm Uncle Douglas, I'm his nephew. And I just also want to give a very special thank you for all of you to keep turning up every year and showing tribute to your Uncle Douglas. And what makes it even more special about is his birthday. And me and the family is very proud that we get a great turnout every year. So I just want to say thank you all.
Okay, so we're good to go. So give thanks, and what an honor to be here. Really being here to honor a one like that, because most of us in this room know this brother. That spirit is such a blessing to be here and to have his family here. And yeah, we just let the ears up for brother again. Brother Dougie! All right, our brother Montu Tar from the Holy Coptic Church of the Black Messiah cannot be here today, but we have a representative who will be saying a few words on behalf of the Holy Coptic Church, on behalf of Brother Dougie, and it is Ari Ma'at. So let's welcome our sister Ari Ma'at, another star in the community. Where do I start from? I just want to first of all give reverence to the ancestors. Without them, we wouldn't even be here today, standing here representing and even speaking on our elder, Brother Dougie. What can we say about Brother Dougie? I know there's going to be quite a few tributes today, but Brother Dougie was a pioneer. We've known Brother Dougie, not just on a personal note. I've known Brother Dougie since I was down here. He's actually a family friend of ours. But throughout the years, through the different organizations, and also right now through the Holy Coptic Church of the Black Messiah, you know, we've always had a number of conversations, like you probably would have with many of the groups here, about the liberation of our people, not just in Tottenham, not just in London, but UK-wide. And he's never moved from that. When you used to see him in Tottenham, and he used to have the posters, right? He's always talking about the liberation. He's always talking about how we as a people need to come together. He's always talking, no, there's no separation. We have one enemy, and we need to come together to defeat that one enemy. And so with that, everybody here have love for him. But you've also acknowledged that even though our brother has made another journey, his life is continued for another journey. But his legacy is what we're seeing here right now. His legacy was for us as a people to come together. His legacy was for us to come together, put on these initiatives, because there's nobody out there that's going to help us other than ourselves. The helping hand we have is at the end of our arm. You understand? So when we stand here before you today, I'm happy to see everybody here. There's some faces I haven't seen in a long, long time, but we're still here fighting. But what we need to see now is more young people in here. Some of us are here are die-hard, Tottenham liberators in here that I've known from teenage years. But now it is about legacy. Now it's about stop the talking. What are we going to do? Yes, we come here every year to acknowledge our brother, but he was a fighter, he was a worker. So what are we going to do as a community now? Because that was his words. It wasn't about talk. It was about what are we going to do? It was about action. Do you understand? So I give the family, again, I don't think his sister's here, but I acknowledge the family. Yes, I know it's still a sad time, but as you look around the room, you see everybody here, he's had an effect on all of us in different ways. Yes, and he would always be here, but it's now about legacy. And so on behalf of the Holy Coptic Church of the Black Messiah, we are trying to do our best in the community. We have love for the community, but we also need to look at the unity of the community. That is paramount. that is paramount. Next time, next year, when we have this gathering, we want to speak. We want to fill out this building. So we need to get another building. But we need to have an agenda. What is the agenda? What are we trying to do? And that's what he was about. He was a doer. He had meeting after meeting. And most of you here he would have met with. So if you want to have a legacy for Brother Dougie, it's like, what are we going to do? What is the action plan? What are we going to do to move forward? Yes? And I think I'll just leave it there. Namaste. Please, let's give it up for our sister, Alima Ant. At the Holy Coptic Church of the Black Messiah. And I see all them present proper uniform, Lord. Okay, the next person who is going to give a tribute is another stalwart in our community. He is part of the management of Galaxy Radio, if not the longest running black radio station in the UK, certainly one of the longest running black community stations in the UK. He's an activist, hardcore. Let's welcome our brother, Dr. Ahura Ta.
Give thanks and praise for each and every one. And you know, standing here and looking there, you know, there's a lot of face that is missing. You know, and we are here to pay a tribute to our beautiful brother Dougie. You know, and Brother Dougie was a brother of nature, because you know, nature have no profit margin. You know, and Brother Dougie never give up his purpose or his values for capital. Because today, a lot of us are walking under a false identity. And we have to realize that a dog that's born in a home is not a biscuit. A lot of us, because we're born here, we think that we're brutish. But there's other brutish things happen to us. But we have to give thanks and praise for one another. And I want to pay a tribute, not only to Brother Dougie, but to that wonderful pioneer generation. If it wasn't for them, I and I could not be here. So let us heal them up. Our mothers and fathers who come here, and they were young people. Young people, that's why I strongly have a certain love for young people, because I was young myself. And a lot of us have to know that the youth bring change, the youth bring energy. This year made 40 years Galaxy Radios and the year, and it wasn't that easy. I'm on Galaxy now for 36 years. I was explaining to the brother that I was the first presenter to play a Malcolm X, Dr. York, and do a tape on the radio. Because Galaxy is the only deep brainwashing station. And we have to know, it's only we have to do for we. And we have to prepare for the next generation to come. Some of us are preparing for a personal savior, but that's why we can't form a unity. We have to prepare for the next generation to come, and out of that generation will come our liberator. Will come whatsoever we need, but we can't follow what they give to us. Because what they give to us, and we think, say, oh, he's a president or he's a prime minister. No, those are project managers. And they're managing the European project very well. For them all the time. Yeah. Oh, when the sun keeps shining sun keeps shining. They gonna know who is good on people, but when the sun keeps shining. Preparation time, I deliver. Preparation time, I have to deliver. If we don't make a start, we cannot keep our preparation time. I have to deliver. Yeah! Come make me sharpen our soul from the evil that prey on us. Sharpen our soul from the evil that prey on us. Sharpen our soul from the evil that prey on us. Oh, sharpen our soul. Hey! Free man and woman, the wise one should have known. These barbarians destined to fall. Free man and woman, the wise one should have known. These barbarians destined to fall. What is it? Fall, barbarian. Fall. Because not even the dog that sits upon the wall of those barbarians shall escape I judgment. And not even the man that climb upon the animal's back shall escape his judgment. If we are dealing with nation building, then we can't adapt alternative lifestyle. So we have to sharpen our sword from the evil that prey on us. Sharpen our sword from the evil that prey on us. Sharpen our sword from the evil that prey on us. Oh, sharpen our sword. I want us to sharpen our sword, my people. Nothing is permanent. We are all here temporary. And there's a time when we're going to go through a certain transition. A lot of us don't like the caterpillar, but we like to kiss the butterfly. Which is from somewhere. And we're here to pay tribute to a wonderful soul, Brother Dougie, and to his family. Because family is very important. That's why we're in this predicament today. Because the first thing they matter is the family. And today, some of us have alternative family, in-craft family, and all kind of GMO family. But I'm saying, GMO people, it's a pleasure to be a witness. Because we use that word again, witness. A lot of us be a witness for Jehovah, but we don't be a witness for one another. It's a consciousness is an awareness. What we pay attention to is what we're conscious about. So sometimes we got to ask the question, what are you paying attention to? And I know you're conscious, brothers and sisters, right here today. That's why you're here. So you here. My name is Dr. Abaratata, Galaxy Radio, the only de-brainwashing station. That's why we said, our enemy, who art in England, Babylon is thy name. And they shall remain the same on earth, but not in heaven. Jailing us each day for our daily bread, and lead us into conviction to deliver us to evil. For evil is their kingdom, their power, their glory, and they shall burn in hell forever. Amen. All the time.
In the house, representing this warrior kind of like, he just living kind of like this, like humble and thing. But he's a solid warrior. He has been on Conscious Radio for many, many years, but you probably wouldn't want me to tell you this, but I'm going to say this. He is the person who first put Dougie on the show where he had Find Your Voice. And he also was an activist with Dougie's Find Your Voice. I'm speaking about no one else but our beautiful brother, DJ Supreme.
Greetings, family. Greetings. Dougie was a very, very important man in this community and done some brilliant works. And there's so many stories that I can share with you about Dougie. But if I go down, I might cry. You want to see me cry? You mean yes? I'm gonna cry first, yeah? It's very interesting because even in this very building, we had meetings upstairs about organizing natural food and doing a food bank upstairs in this building, yeah? And this building was going to be taken over. And Dougie came in and stepped in and said, right, we're going to come in and try and save this building. And I'm always behind Dougie, but on this particular occasion, Dougie said, we're going to sleep in Chestnuts. I said, you're joking. We're going to sleep in Chestnuts to keep it in the community, because that was the type of person he was. Hesketh would be to that. Hesketh also, you know, when he done the campaign for the betting shop, body music was going to be moved into a betting shop. Dougie said, no, can't have a betting shop. But they got a customer to be there, I mean, can't have a betting shop there. And he campaigned, he went outside, stood outside, done the campaign outside the shop until they didn't put the betting shop in there, because the amount of betting shops that was on West Green Road, and I'm going to say this, West Green Road was Dougie's patch. 124 where your shop is. And Dougie, you stand outside and give out his flyers. And what he would say is, here brother, here sister, take this. You don't have to pay me now. You know, just turn up. I tell you what, here, have another one. Bring somebody with you. Because he believed in people investing in themselves. And he done lots of topics about us investing in ourselves. Relationships, finance, wills and trust. He's put, to me, he's the person that put Parkview Academy on the map for the events that we're doing now. I'm telling you, this Dougie came to me when we first went on radio. And he brought, I'm trying to look for the gentleman, but I see his sister here. And Dougie was about, when I first met him, was about personal development. It's your brother, John. Is your brother named John? Yeah, John. I remember him bringing John to the studio. And John was getting married in Ali Pali, am I right, Alexander Palace? And he said, what's the key to the relationships? And he went in, and your brother was there and was talking about marriage and relationships. And that was one of the things that Dougie used to champion. Relationships. How could you find a good black man? How could you find a good black woman was the topic. Wow. There's so many things that I've seen and I see here. And when one of his things was about the investment in our community with the stalls. The stalls would come out in Parkview Academy. There was a set fee. And he would go around and say, how are you doing? How's the business going? Okay, if you never make no money, you know what? We'll give you a little discount. He wanted us to invest in ourselves with the arts, the crafts, and the people that were starting off in business as a solo business to test the ground. Again, I'm going to mention your brother. Your brother brought out a product. I think it was an ice product because I remember he came out freeze pack. And there were quite a few people that on their journey in business, Dougie put them on the platform. He'd be walking down the road, like I said, and he would see someone and he would ask them, how you do? What do you do? From that point, he was introduced to that person. That person was going to be speaking on his radio show, talking about what they do, and he turned them into, what would you call it, specialists in their area. There's quite a few people I've seen. I've got to pick up Noah at the back. And with Noah, which is very interesting, Noah will tell you that Dougie loved a particular person when it came to health, and it was a gentleman by the name of Dr. Layla Africa. When Dr. Layla Africa came here, come to Dougie and Emmanuel, used to drive them around, and Noel was one of the people that helped with Dr. Layla Africa. Dr. Layla Africa, if I'm correct, passed away a week or 2 weeks before Dougie passed. When I had a conversation with Dougie, that was one of the things he was really emotional about. Dr. Layla Africa, you know. Another, I'm going to go backwards and forwards because there's another particular person, and when it came to investing in yourself, and it was personal development. A lot of people know about Les Brown. He was very much into Les Brown. So a lot of the topics, especially on radio, was around personal development. And I've got to say, when I started off with the journey with him, I didn't know what NLP was, or personal development, or even health. So it was almost like I was growing with him. And I've taken up some of the stuff that he was on his journey teaching us and letting us speak about on radio, you know. And when it came on radio, I'm going to Janice will tell you, Hesketh will tell you, if you went on Dougie's show at 10 o'clock, you weren't leaving till 6 in the morning. 6 o'clock in the morning, or sometimes I went home, slept, put my radio on, and I was fast asleep. Dougie was still on the radio, doing his works. Yeah? And there were other radio stations that actually started to copy Dougie. We were invited by Radio 4, Prostate Cancer, big up Vasco. Remember when there was a campaign with Errol McKellar, if you know Errol McKellar, who he is, and they invited us from the community to take part in Prostate with black men up Shoreditch. Radio 4, remember that? Yeah? Yeah. Also, he was another person who, as Kandaki said, spent quite a few times jumping from one radio station, bless him, then he would come on Conscious Radio, then he'd go back on SLR, and there were quite a few internet radio stations where he would go around and he was invited to speak and talked about the very said topic. But Find Your Voice was him. Find your voice. If we listen to what he says, investing in ourselves. Well, I'm going to say thank you very much. I could go a bit deeper. You don't want to see me cry still? No? You want me to do some dub poetry like Dr. Abu? Okay, Curtis? Big up, yeah? And everybody at the front. Yes, we miss. You know, one thing I'm going to say, it would be nice to see us as a community come back together. Even if we fall out with someone, break some bread, right? And bring back, find your voice back in the community. Because right now, I believe that's what we need. We need Find Your Voice. Okay, thank you very much. My name has been DJ Supreme, Conscious Radio. Stay blessed.
Our brother, DJ Supreme. And I think he left us with some good words. If we could come back together and put on back that Find Your Voice. Listen, man, people were coming from all over for that, those events that Brother Dougie used to put on. So maybe we can ask you and a couple of other brothers and sisters to champion that. Because we'd like to see his legacy. His family's nodding, yeah? We'd like to see that legacy still here. Okay. So now we're going to change the pace slightly. And you heard our brother Supreme make reference to another stalwart in the community. And this stalwart is in the area of health, specifically around prostate health. You heard him call his name a little while ago. He is an health advocate, and he's on the cutting edge. This man does so much research, I don't even know if he sleeps. He's always researching, finding new information out there. But since the 1980s, our brother Vasco Stevenson, has been involved in the area of prostate health, which we know as the women in our community needs to be dealt with, because our men, we need to know that they are standing strong and that they are healed. So it's important that brothers like Vasco come and present. So this evening he's going to present on prostate health. Let's welcome our brother Vasco Stevenson.
Good evening, everyone. I listened to all the previous speakers and I said to myself, how do I follow these guys? They are on point, they're sharp, and they know what you're talking about. Before I begin the presentation, I'm going to say something about Brother Dougie for 2 seconds, because I've got to put a presentation that's usually about an hour and a half into half an hour. Okay, so I've got to fly through this. But one of the things I remember very much about Brother Dougie is that he would call me up on Tuesday nights about 12 o'clock in the night, and I would say, Brother Dougie, I'm in bed. I'm trying to sleep. He said, man, give me 20 minutes, half an hour will do. And I said, make this the last time. But it was only the beginning. It just went on and on and on. What a lovable person. And when I went on his radio shows, I couldn't get away until 2 o'clock in the morning. And I live all the way in southeast London. I had to drive him home and then go off. What a wonderful man. And I'm delighted to be part of his celebration. This evening, I've been asked to talk about prostate matters, which is one of my specialties. And I first got involved with it when 2 of my very dear friends died in 1982 from prostate cancer. And that was my first introduction to it. I didn't even know what it was. But I started studying it from then, among other things. And what I'm going to share with you this evening, pay very close attention to. All of these diseases, including prostate cancer, are showing up in younger and younger people. And if you've been following the news, you'll find that more and more people are making noise at the back. Okay. More and more people are dying from all the degenerative diseases, especially cancer. And let me just enlighten you a little bit, but I'm certain that some of you know this already. There are cures out there for every single disease, but the system, as it stands, will not allow these natural cures to be rolled out. These are all industries in their own right. And of course, the people who own and run these industries wouldn't give kindly or take kindly to someone rolling out a natural cure. So you have to say something, and I'm saying it in this audience, but I still have to keep my head down, and you have to keep your head below the parapet, so to speak, when you talk about certain things, especially cancer. Okay? I'm going to share with you some natural remedies for cancer, especially prostate and breast cancer this evening. Okay, I'm trying to change the slides, but it's not my computer. Oh dear. I need some help. Different from mine. Yeah, let's go back. Back. From there, go forward. Okay. So the title of this presentation is Prostate Health and Well-Being. Health and well-being. Okay. So I'm going to cut out all the ancillary bits about where the prostate is and what it does and all that kind of stuff, and get on to what will actually benefit your prostate and make you better. Women go through a change of life called the menopause. Men go through a change of life called the andropause. But if you go to your doctor, he will never mention that word. He will mention, oh, you're suffering from low testosterone. Okay? But this is a very subtle change. And from the time a man reaches the age of 30, his testosterone, which is the male hormone, starts to decrease by 1% every year. So that by the time he gets to 50 or 40, he's got about 20% less testosterone than when he was 30 years old. And of course, testosterone is your male hormone, the opposite of which is estrogen in females. Agreed? Yeah. Good. So very quickly, it's a condition that is associated with the decrease in the male hormone testosterone. It is unlike the menopause, that's the andropause, in that the decrease in testosterone and development of symptoms is more gradual. It is not as clearly defined as the menopause in women. It sneaks upon you, so to speak. Okay? How do you find out about it? You go to your doctor and you have the two tests. Agreed? You have the PSA blood test, and then you have the dreaded digital rectal examination, which a lot of men don't like to have. Right? But it's the only way that you're going to find out how your prostate gland is functioning. So, the digital rectal examination is nothing to be afraid of. The nurse or whoever puts a little glove on and a little bit of ointment and just inserts it into the back passage to feel the outside of the prostate. It should be smooth. If it is hard or rigid, that indicates that it's a lump, not necessarily cancerous, but it's a tumor. And that has to be investigated by way of a biopsy. Okay? And to be quite honest, I put this in there for a little bit of fun, because it really is not that bad. Okay? I wouldn't like to have a digital rectal examination with a guy who has fingers like that. So what can go wrong? There are three main things with regard to the prostate that you should be aware of. The first one is called prostatitis. Let me hasten to add that any medical word you see ending in itis simply means inflammation. Okay, when it's conjunctivitis, whatever, inflammation. Second one, okay, when you know how to do it, you go and do it, don't you? Okay, the second one is benign prostatic hyperplasia, also abbreviated to BPH. And this is the most common one. Doesn't necessarily mean that the prostate gland is cancerous. It simply means that it is swollen. Okay? And of course, the last one is prostate cancer, which can be slow growing, but according to the experts, in African men, it usually becomes aggressive. And that is something that we have to be very much aware of. Now, what is interesting is that if you go to allopathic doctors and hospitals, and you're talking about prostate cancer and other things like that, the first thing they want to do is reduce your testosterone. Would you believe it? They want to reduce your testosterone. And yet, there is one particular doctor I mentioned, Dr. Sang from China. He has never lost a prostate cancer patient. He does the opposite. He raises your testosterone. In the West, they reduce your testosterone. Why? Because they want to continue treating you all the time, okay? And it says here, based on studies and latest research, it does not appear that testosterone causes prostate cancer, nor that it has a negative impact on men who already have the disease. At the same time, another hormone, estrogen, seems to play the main role in disease. What happens is that these two hormones should be balanced. Yes? As we go through these hormonal changes, the testosterone starts to drop off and the estrogen starts to build up. And of course, we get a lot of estrogen as well in some of the foods we are eating. Can I just throw a quick question? Does anyone here eat anything with soy or soya in it? Yes? stop. It's a major hormone disruptor. And if you want to turn a little boy into a little girl, yes, let him eat soy products. But the funny thing about it is so ubiquitous. It is 60% of the processed foods you eat. Right? So come off of processed foods. Cook your own food naturally. Okay? And you will be able to balance these two hormones, estrogen and testosterone. Everything must be in a state of homeostasis, which is balanced. Or should I say okay, signs and symptoms of elevated estrogen in men, low libido, so your sex drive goes down the tube to begin with, so that you know that your hormones are out of balance. Risk of a stroke. You don't want to have a stroke, do you? So balance your hormones. And heart attack, because testosterone is connected to the heart. And if it's low, then you're increasing your risk of a heart attack. Okay? Infertility, if you're a young man and you want children, it can prevent you from having children as well. Right? And of course, estrogen, not testosterone, is a hormone that needs to be equally managed as part of living a healthy and cancer-free life. And here are some natural testosterone boosters, right? Intermittent fasting, eating healthy fats. Let me tell you what healthy fats are. Coconut oil, one of the best, okay? Avocados, something called ghee from India, type of buttery type of thing. Then and omega-3 from fish, like salmon and mackerel and all that. Those are healthy fats, not fat from dairy products, right? Reduce stress, get vitamin D3. And what is interesting is I have a friend who's just returned from Africa, Ghana to be specific, and prostate cancer is rampant down there, and the men are deficient, believe it or not, in vitamin D3. With all that sunshine, just have to go in the sun for 40 minutes, and they're deficient in vitamin D3. Would you believe it? They run out of the sun. Get rid of sugar from your diet. When I say sugar, I'm not talking about the 2 lumps you put in your cup of tea. I'm talking about the hidden sugars. Yeah, you eat cookies and biscuits and donuts and bread, wheat, full of sugar. And incidentally, any word you see ended in OSE is a sugar. Okay? Lactose, fructose, dextrose, glucose, they're all sugars. Be careful. And if you buy drinks in a carton, look for 3 words. High fructose corn syrup or HFCS. That's one of the worst sugars. The other one is concentrate. And the third one, aspartame. If you see those 3 words on a carton, don't put it in your body. It's sugar, okay? Get quality sleep. You should be getting a minimum of 6 hours sleep. My sleep cycle is actually 6 hours, okay? Every 6 hours, I'm up. Lower your body fat. And if you're using coconut oil, believe it or not, you can lose weight very quickly. Before you go to bed, take a tablespoon, dunk it, put it in your mouth and swallow it. It will burn fat. You don't have to go to the gym. Okay? Especially as you get older, you can. Do a lot of physical exercise. And of course, do a little bit of weight training. All of that will help burn fat. And natural ways to reduce estrogen. And women I know sometimes have estrogen that's too high as well, yes. Okay. To rebalance our hormones and reclaim our manhood, we've got to start doing these 5 things. Start getting extra estrogen out of your body. So in addition to raising your testosterone, you try to reduce your estrogen as well. Start making more testosterone naturally. Stop the conversion of unused testosterone into estrogen. Stop ingesting fake estrogen. Even if you have water in a bottle, a plastic bottle, and you leave it in the sun, you drive up and down the road, you see all these shops with these bottles of plastic water in plastic and in the sun. Well, that water is estrogen from the plastic is leaching into that water. You go and drink that water, you're taking estrogen into your body, okay? And you can start melting estrogen producing belly fat, because the bigger your belly is, the more fat you have around here, the more your body produces estrogen. Yes, so you've got to get rid of this fat. And this is one of the signs, you know, a big belly. Fortunately, I haven't got one. That's one of the signs of a hormonal change taking place. Your testosterone dropping and your estrogen increasing. All right? Here's a very simple one. Something called limonene. It's called the estrogen antidote. Where do you get it from? Put a whole lemon in your juicer and blend it with a few green leaves and drink the concoction. It's as easy as that. Yes? And when you use a lemon, don't throw away the skins. Put them in your blender, blend them up. Yes, put a little drop of water and drink them. Okay? Or you can freeze a whole lemon, then you can grate it with gloves on because it's going to be cold. Put it in some hot water and drink it. Easy way to reduce your estrogen, man. Okay? And a plant-based diet is essential. I'm not suggesting that you shouldn't eat any kind of animal product. Okay? I wouldn't recommend that. But if you eat mainly a plant-based product, you reduce your risk of developing aggressive prostate cancer by 25%. Got it? One of the issues we looked at earlier, we mentioned, was something called prostatitis. You can have two types, either chronic, which is low-key, but ongoing and very annoying, or acute prostatitis. And I remember speaking to a gentleman many years ago, about 15 years, and he shared with us his experience with prostatitis. He was going along, happy with his missus, you know, making love and everything, and out of the blue, nothing happened. But his wife was very understanding. She didn't think he was playing away from home or anything like that. So after the doctor they went, the doctor said prostatitis is this. We have no cure for it. This was 15 years ago. And just as mysteriously as it came about, he got better. But it was 2 years later. So for 2 years, nothing happened. And as I said, fortunately, he had a very loving, caring wife. Okay? But now they're saying chronic inflammation, which is resistant to antibiotics, so your doctor can't do anything for you. And it's what is called candida overgrowth. So it's candida or yeast or fungus or bacteria in the prostate that is causing prostatitis. And which is the best food, natural food, to get rid of bacteria, fungus, and yeast? Any suggestions? I mentioned it earlier. Coconut oil, add it to your regime. Get rid of all the other cooking oils you're using and get stuck into coconut oil. It does wonders for you. It even helps prevent Alzheimer's disease, okay, and dementia. So, invasive candidiasis, fungal prostatitis. There are different types. There's bacteria, there's fungus, all these different things. But coconut is the answer to that. All right? Moving forward. Oh dear. I'm going to scream for help. Okay, yeah. Coconut oil for hormone balance. The health benefits of coconut oil include balancing your hormones as well. So from the time a man gets into his late 30s or 40s, he should think about balancing his hormones. Okay? So add coconut oil to your dietary regime. It will burn weight naturally, so it keeps you slim and fit. Okay? And of course, you wouldn't have the bare belly, and your hormones will be balanced. Got it? It has some very powerful acids in it. Coconut oil for cancer prevention and treatment. It has two qualities that help it fight cancer, including the ketones produced in the oil. The ketones are what actually help reduce your risk of getting Alzheimer's disease. And there's a lot of anecdotal information supporting that, okay? Tumor cells are not able to access the energy in ketones and are glucose dependent. So ketones from the coconut will reduce your risk of getting the cancer. Okay? Lauric acid found in coconut oil may have anti-cancer actions by triggering an anti-cancer proliferation and anti-proliferation and pro-apoptotic effects. Let me explain that to you. Anti-proliferation, that means it stops the spread of the cancer. As long as cancer stays in the prostate gland, it will never threaten your life. Okay? It is when it spreads from the prostate and goes to other parts of the body, especially the bones around the lower back, the hip, and the pelvis. So coconut oil has the ability to stop the spread of cancer, especially prostate cancer. And pro-apoptotic effect. Apoptosis is the term given to when cancer cells kill themselves, they commit suicide. Okay? So they just die off like that. And you give them the means of committing themselves, suicide. Okay? You give them the rope to put around their neck. A study published in the journal Antimicrobial Agents and Chemotherapy found that the capric acid and the lauric acid in coconut oil made for an effective natural treatment for Candida albicans and yeast infection. Okay? Right. To effectively kill Candida and treat yeast infection, you remove processed sugar and refined grains from your diet and consume plenty of healthy fats. Work with the healthy fats I talked about earlier. Coconut oil and what else? Avocado and ghee and grass-fed butter. Butter from cows that are grass-fed, not given grains, okay? So all of that is part of your change, the change you can make when you leave this room and you go home. Coconut oil, here it is, immune system boost, it will boost your immune system, antibacterial, so it will kill bacteria in the prostate or any part of your body. It's antifungal and it's antiviral. So if you pick up a virus, coconut oil deals with it. And it has been shown to reduce candida, fight bacteria, and create a hostile environment for viruses. Studies have found that coconut oil may be excellent fat to eat during the andropause or menopause, and also may have positive effects on estrogen levels. So in addition to killing bacteria and fungus, it will help you balance your estrogen, okay? In order to naturally balance hormones, reduce sugar and grain consumption, and load upon healthy fats, which we said already. Now we come to another group of foods called the allium foods. Garlic, onions, leeks, chives, have been shown to help kill prostate cancer cells. So again, add these to your regime and you'll be having to go at prostate cancer, okay? Tomatoes contain a compound called lycopene, which slows prostate cancer growth and it helps prevent cancer from spreading, okay? But there's a particular way that you have to eat tomatoes. And the worst way to eat tomatoes is raw. Slightly cooked, and the redder the tomato, the more lycopene it has. Yes, so when you bite your tomatoes, bite them as red as you can. That's lycopene, okay? I'm sorry? I've got limited time. Can you hold it to the end, please? Thank you. Okay. Bite them as red as you can. Slightly cook them. Slightly cook with a little bit of black pepper. Because the compound in the tomatoes, which is lycopene, works synergetically with the compound in the black pepper, which is piperine. So they work together. Okay? So bear that in mind. Slightly cooked with a little bit of black pepper. It was found that men in the category of highest intake of allium vegetables had a statistically significant lower risk of contracting prostate cancer. So if at the moment you're young and you don't have prostate cancer, prevention is better than cure. So that's the time to get your youngsters hooked into this dietary regime using these herbs, yes, and spices and these cancer-fighting foods. Get them hooked into it now, right? Allium vegetables had a statistically significant lower risk of contracting prostate cancer. Those people who use those allium foods. And now we come to my favorite, one of my second favorite one, which is turmeric. Also targets cancer stem cells, which are responsible for the initial growth of the tumor and for the treatment failure. Additionally, it acts against miRNAs, which target both the tumor suppressor genes and oncogenes. So what the turmeric does, it goes and attacks this. This will destroy the suppressor of the genes. But turmeric says, okay, you're doing this, we're going to take you out. Okay? And I'll tell you a simple way to use turmeric, always with black pepper as well. All right? Get a glass jar like the one you buy the coconut in. When it's empty, don't throw it away. Buy some powdered turmeric, about 3 to 4 tablespoons in there. 2 to 3 tablespoons of black pepper. A little bit of honey, okay? Some olive oil, and a special type of yogurt called kefir, K-E-F-I-R. And you mix that in, and every morning you take a tablespoonful of that. It will not only benefit this, but guess what? It will keep your liver clean from getting fatty. We make everything passing through your liver, yes? And when I do body scans, which I do for a living, I see a lot of people turning up with fatty livers. And those fatty livers, if it stays there too long, can have a knock-on effect on your bones. Okay? In addition to that, 2 minutes. Good grief. 2 minutes. Okay. I've got 2 minutes. I don't know what to talk about for 2 minutes. Iodine. Iodine. 20% of women who have breast cancer in the Western world are deficient in iodine. Okay? And when I talk about prostate in men, I'm also referring to the breast in women. There's a correlation between the two. Now, where would you get iodine from? Anyone? Aha! Sea moss. Irish moss. Yes, bladderwrack. Okay? Anything like that. And do you like fish? There's a particular fish that's full of iodine. I'm sorry, there's a sea bass. Sea bass, okay? So if you're a pescatarian and you eat fish, sea bass is where you're going, okay? Right, I down to half a minute. Okay. Let me scroll down. Let me go back up. Worst foods for prostate. I should be saying the best foods, but my time is up. Drink beetroot twice a week, beetroot juice, and mix it with pineapple. I'm going to give you one tip before I get hauled off the stage. I'll tell you why you use the pineapple. Cancer cells, they say, are very clever. They wrap themselves in a protein called fibrin. And you can alkalize your body until the cows come home. They will stay there in that cocoon, yes, and they'll survive. But if you make the mistake of allowing your body to become acidic, bingo, they spring back out. And when they start to multiply, they can multiply. But there's one compound that can stop that. Did you see the picture of a pineapple? It has a compound called bromelain. And bromelain has the ability to dissolve that fiber that the cancer cells wrap themselves around. Okay? So when you're using the beetroot, which has a compound called boron, which is also anti-cancer, yes, you use the pineapple at the same time. There are a host of things that you can use to keep your risk of cancer to a minimum. Okay, I can take two questions. One was here and one was here. Yes.
You have arthritis.
Yes.
Them say you have to young tomato.
That is not 100% correct. May I indulge? May I indulge? Okay. Arthritis. There are certain foods you shouldn't eat. They come from the nightshade family. Irish potatoes or white potatoes, okra, aubergine, bell peppers, tomatoes. But you can get away with tomatoes. Once you take off the skin and take out the seeds, you can eat it. Okay? You can get away with tomatoes. All right, Sheila, you had one.
Yeah, I was asking, what is the difference between the coconut?
It's basically the same thing. Eating the coconut and drinking the oil is basically the same thing. Just that you're eating one and you're drinking the other. Okay? Thank you for your time.
Okay, please, let's give it up for Brother Vasco. Now, because we've got so many other people, so I've had to move swiftly. But, Brother Vasco, as I was moving along the back there, every minute a brother kept contacting me and said, how can we get some information from him? How can so, Brother Vasco, please, can you give out your information? Because the brothers were just on me, like, how can I get some more information? Where can I find him? Has he got a website? So could you give that information? All right, so whoever needs it, if you can take a picture, because it's on here. So if you missed it, get your cameras out now. And of course, you can grab Brother Vasco around the back there. But I just want to say, while you're taking this, that the brothers were very interested. So, and it's key information. So thank you, Brother Vasco. I'm sorry, we have to stop the time. Just the time, we have to keep it moving. All right, so let's hear it again from Brother Vasco Stevenson. Okay, while I'm introducing the next person, I'm going to leave it up for a bit. And the next person we're going to have is an actor and a comedian. He's an award-winning comedian, actor, youth leader, 18 years in acting, 16 years performing stand-up comedy. I'm keeping my eye out, can I see him? Oh, he's here, okay, yeah. I'll make sure he's here after this presentation. He's been on movies, TV, radio, stage. He was an ambassador for the Prince's Trust. He met King Charles 3 times and was invited to Buckingham Palace by him, King Charles III, for his continued work with the community. Originally African, raised by the Tottenham community, let's welcome our brother, Limbs Ali. Let's hear it for our brother, Limbs Ali.
Thank you, my sister. Thank you. Thank you guys for turning up for Brother Douglas. Round of applause for yourselves. Come on, big round of applause for Brother Douglas Williams for everything he's done, man. This is amazing, like, this is like, listen, like, I'm sure right now he's looking down saying, thank you. And that's coming from an African man speaking a Caribbean accent. You know what I'm saying? Now, but for real, man, you guys give yourselves a round of applause. Thank you so much for turning up. Highly appreciate it, trust me, man. And I'm Limbs Ali. A little brief about me. I think she gave you a little bit. I run acting comedy workshops, and this is how I met Brother Dougie. Like, he literally came out and supported my event, and he put it out on radio because I've been doing this for a long time, but I did grow up in Tottenham, like, if you guys know, not too far from Phillip Lane, not too far from here. My school around the corner, like, do you know what I'm saying? Like, you don't know about Downhills Primary School? And I'm sure you know about Parkview, right? Come on now, they got any Parkview people inside? Alright, this is what I'm saying, I need energy. You don't want some comedy, yeah? Alright, you're ready for laughing, King. Say, did you not eat yet? No, thank God, because there's no farts coming in. You know that when you smell a cat, now I'm joking, listen, carry go is a magic. But, but guys, now for real, a bit about myself. Stand-up comedian for 15 years, 16 years now, and how I met Brother Dougie was that he literally put me out there on the radio circuit I do a lot of mainstream work, but I didn't kind of get into the African Caribbean industry too much, right? And Bro Dougie brought me there, and I had a show on like Bless Radio, Bless is inside, Bless inside. Big man like that, everyone, big up everybody turning up, but it's like SLR, which is amazing because it kept the community running, do you know what I'm saying? But yeah, that's how I met him, and he supported my acting comedy workshops that I run to get the young people off the streets, because a lot of the time in Tottenham, like, I'm 34, I'm not young, really. You're done, no? Black down, black, crack. Yeah, I can't say too much because they're kids and that. But obviously, do you know what I'm saying? But it's like, it helped a lot, and what happened is, like, he came and supported, put me on radio, and I've got a lot of young people to actually turn up, and a lot of them have turned up now to become lawyers. Some of them, like, they're managers of like people in the industry. Do you know what I mean? It's obviously based around the industry, so it's like yeah, the entertainment world. But what's happened is, like, Bro Dougie brought me on, and as a mentor, like, he literally showed me a different world that I was not receiving, because, you know what I mean, it's different. But yeah, no, that's why I'm here, to like give him a big up, and then obviously give you run you some jokes. Like, get me saying, man, I'm trying to stand up and walk out like, man, ain't funny and that. I ain't even started, bro. This is a tribute, you know. Man's doing a tribute right now, and the man am trying to stand up. Listen, listen, the lady at the front said, y'all guys at the back, you need to be quiet, so you can let the joke run past your eardrum. Did I do the accent, right? Did I? It's a bit off, isn't it? Nah, don't worry, man. I'm getting there. I'm going to the Caribbean, man. I'm going to visit for the first time. I want to be the first African man to arrive